Hello, crafty friends. This is Jessica Lewis with Scrap Sprinkle Crop. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm coming to you. First of all, let me wish you a happy new year, 2022. I'm so excited about the new year, a new beginning for so many things, and for new catalogs, new Stampin' Up! Catalogs. So I am excited to share with you the 2022 January through June mini catalog. And I have it right here in front of me. I'll be opening it up soon. And then the sale-a-bration promotion. The sale-a-bration promotion, in case you don't know what it is, it's you receive free products contained within the brochure for every $50 purchase that you make. And so I am excited to show this to you. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll have a project. I'll have some new product to show you. So let's switch over and I'll get you going. Okay, I'm going to turn on a few things, turn on my light here. So these are the new catalogs. This is the January through June mini catalog, and it's beautiful, fresh, fun, very spring-like. I love the colors. And then this is the sale-a-bration catalog. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip to the things that I'm going to be featuring today. And I'll start with the paper actually in the sale-a-bration catalog. So I'm going to create a project featuring one of the designer series papers contained within this catalog. And it is called Daffodil Afternoon. So the Daffodil Afternoon paper comes free with a $50 purchase, and it's fresh. I love the colors. You can see the coordinating colors described below the item here. And you can see lots of beautiful projects created with this designer paper. Before I show you the paper, I want to note that here it's a small note. It says it coordinates with the Daffodil Daydream bundle, and that's in the mini catalog, page 37. So let me flip over to that one to show you what it coordinates with. And this is the page right here. This is page 37 of the mini catalog, and this is the bundle that it coordinates with. I love that Stampin' Up! Does that. The Daffodil Daydream bundle, I do not have it with me, so I cannot show you, but this is the bundle that this paper here coordinates, and we're going to be using that in a project. So let me show you that paper, shall I? Let me scooch this over and bring my paper out. So this is the paper right here. It's very beautiful. I really like it. Very green. So I'll give you a little tour of what these papers look like. And so you got some bright colors, lots of flowery pinks and yellows, greens. Love these patterns. This is the paper I'm using for today's project. And here's some green hearts, lots of greenery, some pinks. I guess I need to. This is a black, and then here's the other side of that. Let's see, this paper, I'm going to be using this side of the paper, and I only have one sheet, so I'll have one sheet of the 2 pages we're going to be making. But these pages are very beautiful, and they are free when you do a $50 purchase. Okay, let me feature something else in the sale-a-bration catalog that you can get for free, and that is the Special Moments stamp set. So this is an all greetings. There's 21 stamps inside the stamp set, and you get it free with a $100 purchase. And you can use it for so many different projects. You can see all these beautiful projects that these greetings were used on, and I'm actually using that on our project today. So moving on, let's see, we got another thing here. Okay, I'll be using my project will also feature the Eden's Garden dies. I'm not using the stamp set. but I am using the dies, and I have that with me. And these are the dies right here. I'll be using this edge die right here. I'll be using it in our project along, yeah, that's all I'm using for that one. But it's a set of 5 dies, and it goes with the bundle, with the stamp set. That's located here on page 41 of the catalog. Another set that I'll be using on my project is right here. I'll be using the Blessings of Home stamp set and the coordinating dies. And I do have that with me. I can show them to you. Here's the stamp set. It's a cling mount stamp set that coordinates with these Flowers of Home dies. And I'll be using the flower and the coordinating die to cut it out for this project. And so this is a bundle. If you purchase the bundle, you do get a 10% off discount. And don't do what I did. I've done it where I just order the dies or just the stamp set, and I forget to order either one of them, and I don't get my savings for buying the bundles. So make sure you get that bundle for 10% off, okay? Okay, so those are just a few of the things that come in our catalogs, our new catalogs for January through June, and I'm so excited to share a few of those items with you. So let's get started on our project. Here is what we will be creating today. This is actually it's a fun fold card, and I'm featuring it for this week's TGIF challenge for a closure. And so I'll be making this to show you. It's a pocket card. And so once you open it, you untie the ribbon, it folds open, and it's a little pocket. It has little pockets in here that you can slip in and out. Three different items you can slip in: money, check, pictures, so many different options for that. But this is what we'll be creating, and I'll show you how to make this. Okay, I'll set this aside so I can take a look at it while we're putting this together. I do want to mention that I'm casing Kaz Boylan. She's the one that created this fun fold card. You can see her design here. She used a different set and designer series paper from the new catalog. So I'll be casing her for the pocket, for the base of the pocket card. I'm gonna bring in my what is this called? My scoring tool, and I have a 12 by 12 piece of Very Vanilla here, and I have this is my cheat sheet. So this 12 by 12 piece of Very Vanilla, I'm gonna score it here at the 6-inch mark, and then I'm gonna turn it, and then I'm gonna score at the 3-inch mark, 6-inch mark, and 9-inch mark. Okay, then I'm going to turn it once more, and I'm going to score at the 3-inch mark all the way up to this score line right here. Don't go past that, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to remove these 3 top sections here, okay? So once I do that, your paper is going to look like this, okay? So those top 3 sections that I had right here that I told you to remove, those will be removed. And then what I also did is I cut a line from here to this 6-inch score line. So when you score and fold everything, let me remove my scoreboard. So you're going to have this piece of paper here. This is going to be your 12 by 12 Very Vanilla scored. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, this at the 6-inch score line, I'm going to fold that in half, and this is the piece that you cut. This is just going to flip over and we're going to adhere that, and then you do a mountain, valley, valley fold. I know Kaz Boylan did a different fold. She did mountain, valley, mountain, and I prefer to have this panel folding to the inside to protect whatever it is that you have inserted in here. So that's something slightly different than I did from Kaz Boylan. Okay, so we have the base, and now we're going to decorate it. Before we adhere anything, we're going to go ahead and start decorating. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the inside first, and that is going to require a few pieces, and I have everything cut out already. Excuse me. I gotta get a little bit closer here so I can make sure I'm on the screen. Okay, so I'm gonna start with these larger panels. Actually, I forgot to mention that the finished dimensions when it's closed right here is gonna be 3 by 6, and when it's open like this, it's gonna measure 6 inches high by 12 inches in length. Okay, so that's the finished dimensions here. Okay, so I'm going to begin with adhering the tall panels here, and I have 3 pieces of the designer series, the Daffodil Afternoon designer series paper that I showed you. Here's the back side, and so I'm using 3 pieces, and they all measure 2 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, so the 2 3/4 by 5 3/4 are simply going to be adhered. There's no right side or wrong side to this. I'm just going to use my adhesive, and I'm going to adhere that onto the, oh, I want to actually line up the top. Hold on, my panels are wider than my paper. Okay, they're all the same. Okay, I should have made it a little bit wider, but that's okay. We can work with what we got. So I adhered this panel, and adhere the next panel, and I want to line it up with the top and center it between the score lines. And I cut it short, but that's not a problem because that's actually going to end up getting covered. Nobody's going to see it. I cut it short so that we can make sure that when you fold it up, it doesn't disturb. So when you fold it up this way, it won't disturb what you have here. It'll be fine. Okay, so now we'll leave that. And then we're going to fold this up and adhere a few places. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Tombow glue, and I'm going to put a very thin strip at on each score line to create our pockets. Okay, and you only do the edges at each score line. That's the only place. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that over, and I'm going to stick it down. Give it a little bit of time to adhere. Okay, like that. Okay, I think that'll do it. Then I'm going to take 3 more pieces of this Daffodil Afternoon DSP, and they measure 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. Okay, and those 3 pieces are cut up from the Daffodil Afternoon designer series paper. So I'm just going to glue that onto these panels. Whatever direction you want to adhere them is fine. I actually alternated my panels. You can see how the diagonal stripes are going in different directions. However you prefer, you can even use a different DSP if you prefer. And that will get placed here. Okay, see how that fits well. Okay, so we are already we're doing well. One thing I forgot to mention, whenever you do this, if you choose to fold it this direction, you're gonna have to trim this edge. Excuse me. You're gonna have to trim this edge about 1/8 of an inch because you're folding it in. If you are not gonna fold it in this direction and you're gonna fold it out this way, let's see, like that, then you don't need to trim it. But because I'm folding it in this way, I need to be able to fold it over. So it's going to get trimmed about 1/8 of an inch. So keep that in mind. And that's what I did. Okay. So now I have my, let's see, everything looks like it's adhered. So now you can cut up 3 pieces of your very vanilla cardstock, or you can you can just cut up 1 piece, just whatever you plan on doing on your inside pockets. So I'll be inserting mine measured 2 1/2 by 5 3/4. And I'll be inserting these into my little pockets here and centering them like so. So they'll be nice and centered. Oops. And I made them a little short because, you know, you want that designer paper to pop up. Okay, one last thing on the middle for here. What I did is I took a 2 5/8 square inch square piece of very vanilla, and what I did is I put some post-it tape. Now, if you don't use post-it tape, I highly recommend it. This is the post-it tape. I use it for all kinds of uses here in my paper crafting, so I highly recommend that. So I put a piece here right in the middle, and I'm going to set this aside, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my large image from the Blessings of Home stamp set and my Memento ink, and I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to stamp it directly onto this piece here. Okay, I'm going to give it a good press. And there's the image. That looks pretty good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this post-it note, and that leaves a little bit of an area for me to do my stamping. And I'm going to use the Special Moments stamp set. Here's the Special Moments stamp set. And I'm going to use the grading that says, "For someone who is wonderful in each and every way." So that will be, I'll be stamping that here in the middle. I have evening evergreen ink. I'm going to ink this stamp set up, and I'm going to stamp it right in the middle like that. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of coloring on the image, and to do that I used quite a few. I'm going to use some Stampin' Blends. I have Soft Succulent, So Saffron, Pale Papaya, and Flirty Flamingo. So these are the Stampin' Blend combos that I'm going to be using. Am I able to zoom in? Let me try. Zoom in a little bit. Nope, I can't zoom in. So I'll zoom in for you. Let me go ahead, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off working on the leaves. And this is the light soft succulent blend, and I'm going to do the leaves, and I'm going to color the areas that are shaded. You can't probably see it from your angle, but I can see it here, the areas that are shaded. I'm going to cover that up slightly, and then grab my dark Stampin' Blend and I'm going to go over some of these areas to darken it up, and mostly towards the bottom of the leaf, and then you have the veins that are gonna be popping up. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing on the bottom. I'm gonna paint these leaves, and you can see that there's really, I'm not really in trying to be perfect with it. I'm just trying to figure out which ones are the leaves. It's kind of hard to distinguish. Let's see, I think those are all flower petals. This could be a leaf right here. Right here. Looks like a leaf petal, I mean a leaf. And then come back with my dark blend and just go over the edges, the bottom, and some of those veins that you can see. You can't probably can't see it from here, but there you go. Okay, so that's the soft succulent part. Okay, I'm going to zoom in for you so you can see how it looks like. Okay, it doesn't have to look professional. That's the great part about it. Okay, I'm going to move on to the pale papaya color, and with the light tip, I'm going to color the large flower, and I'm going, just like I did the leaves, I'm going to do the same thing and just cover about half of this flower petals. And I'm going to go over here, do the same thing for these flowers. Okay, and then I'll come back with my dark, and I'm going to go over the shaded areas. Here's the, you can see the shading, and that's what I love about these art images, is that you can see the shading and you know where to shade, and that really helps. Okay, that looks really nice. Okay, now I'm gonna switch over to my Flirty Flamingo, and this is the light Furry Flamingo, and I'm going to shade these leaves just like I did the top ones, all where you see the flower petals, not the leaves. I said leaves earlier. So these flower petals are going to be colored like this. And I'm in a hurry here, but you can take your time on coloring this. And if you choose not to color it, leave it black. Just leave it black, and you can just stamp the image, and that's not a problem. Just going over here, almost done. Trying to get this covered. Okay, that looks good. And then last, I'm going to cover the centers of these flowers with some saffron. So I'm just going to color over it, color over these little centers, and then come in with the dark, and then just do some dots with the dark, some dots, maybe even some coloring in the very middle. There you go. Okay, I think that looks good. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to set these aside and bring in my card, and this is going to go right here in the middle of the panel. And that's really all I have for the inside of this. You can decorate it as you wish, but I think this was all I had for this area. Okay, so this panel is done, and now we're going to work on the front. Okay, so first off, I'm going to glue down this panel, fold it up, and glue it down, and that'll get me to where I need to be for the front. Okay, so here's the front, and I'm going to take a few items here. This is, again, the Daffodil Afternoon DSP, and it measures 3 by 6. So this is going to get glued onto the front. Okay. I'll make sure I line that up real good. Right here in the corners. That lines up. Looks good. Okay. And so this is going to close like this. Like that. It looks good so far. Alright. So now I have a piece of basic black cardstock. And this measures 1 by 6, and I use the Eden dies that I mentioned earlier today, the Eden die border, to cut this out. Okay, and when you cut it out, if it's 1 inch wide, then you'll have it exactly the width that you need it to be. So before I glue this, actually, I'm gonna take a piece of the pale papaya 3/8 inch ribbon, and it looks like this. This is the ribbon, and it's the sheer ribbon. Let's see, what kind of ribbon is it? Pale papaya. It's the open weave ribbon, measures 3/8 inch, and I took 16 inches, basically the width of my paper here, of my grid paper. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close this up, and I'm going to place this in the center of the front and around the back. That way I can have it here. So just make sure that the two ends are even. And I'm going to take some glue dots and adhere it. That way it won't move. This is my take your pick tool. And I'm going to grab a couple of glue dots. And I'm going to keep this closed. And I need to keep it closed. Now I'm going to put a glue dot right here. Place that ribbon up over top. I'm going to take another glue dot. And I'm going to place it right here. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on the back side. Okay, keeping that ribbon where I want it. Okay, and I'll just put a glue dot right there and stick it down. Okay, that'll keep the ribbon in its place. Okay, let's leave it without tying it. And now I can actually start layering my other items on here. So I'm just going to open it up like this so it's just easier to lay. So I'm going to put some tape adhesive. This is called Stamp and Seal Plus. I like to use the strong stuff. This is the stronger, the Plus is the stronger one. The regular one is just regular Stamp and Seal. So I'm just going to take this piece and I'm going to line it up with the edge so that nothing will stick out outside of this left edge. I'll just leave it like that. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp my, just like this card, I'm going to use the flower image and I'm going to stamp that. If I had a piece of vanilla cardstock. Let me grab a piece here. This is my stash. I have some scraps that I can grab. Here we go. Nope, that's too small. I need a larger piece. Maybe this will work. Okay, so this image is from the Blessings of Home stamp set, and it's the smaller flower image. We use the larger one on the inside, and here's the smaller image. So I'm just going to stamp that down like this, and we're going to color it just like we did the other image. Okay, so I'm going to use, this time I'm going to introduce some crumb cake, and that is for the well, what's this called? I can't remember. I'm going to use the light and the dark. My dark Stampin' Blend is really tough. Okay, and I'm just going to highlight where the areas that I see some shading in with my crumb cake. Okay, and then we're going to do, I'll do the leaves like I did earlier. Some soft succulent for the leaves, like this. And I am not worried about coloring the entire leaf. I'm going to leave some areas open, okay? Because I want it to look different, okay? Oh, I forgot this bottom part. Okay. Then I'm going to highlight with my dark, come back and get some of those veins with the dark so it'll pop. You can color the bottom edge where the flower petals are touching. Like this, okay? It's coming together. And then just like we did on the previous one, I'm gonna do the larger flower in the pale papaya. Oh, I love this color, don't you? I hope you do. This color is beautiful. That's a very soft orange with a pink tone to it. I love it. So the larger flowers I'm going to do in the pale papaya. And then do the darker, like this. Okay. Do the shading. Okay. So you get what I'm doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring in my finished piece. And I actually need to show you, let's see if the camera will reflect. I put some Wink of Stella on it, but I'm not seeing that shimmer. Oh, there it is right there. You see the shimmer? So I took some Wink of Stella and I put it all throughout my flower petals. And I actually did the same thing for the inside. I need to do that for the inside. So just the areas that have the darker shades is where I put my Wink of Stella to give it a little bit of shine and shimmer, make it look good. So I got that here. Okay. All right. So let's finish up that front. Okay. So with this, I want to pop it up. And so I'm going to take some dimensionals. Here's a couple of dimensionals. One more. I'm going to do this bottom part here as well. I want to make sure I have a good stability on each end here. Okay. So all I'm going to do is just set that right over this part here. Okay, like that. And then I went ahead and stamped another sentiment from the Special Moment stamp set, and it says, "I couldn't wait for a special occasion." I think that pairs very wonderful, or very good, with the "for someone who is wonderful in each and every way." So that paired pretty good. I used the Stitch So Sweetly dies to cut this out. I stamped it on some Very Vanilla's cardstock, cut it out with the Stitched So Sweetly dies from the annual catalog. And I'm actually going to trim this. I'm going to cut off the top and the bottom. I'm just going to trim it to make this shape. And that will go on with a dimensional just on this right side, because it's going to be attached like this. Okay, so that's the front and that's the inside. and you are complete. You are done. Well, actually, I'm done. I'm the one that made this, right? So you just fold this in like this, and then you have to just fill it in with whatever you like, and then we're going to tie a bow to close it and finish it off. Okay, and that is all there is to it. Oh, I hope you enjoy this. I think the new products from the mini catalog and the sale-a-bration are beautiful. And if you want to see all the details, measurements, and everything, I have my blog post. So just go to scrapsprinklecrop.blogspot.com for all the details and measurements. And I really appreciate you joining me today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.